Shalom, shalom, shalom. It's Brother Raya. I want to give all honor and glory to the Most High God, Yahweh, Bahashima Mashiach, or Malak, Yahweh Shah. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that go out there and labor on the highways and byways, making their body living sacrifice. In the rain, the tumults, the demons, the uprises, the uproars, they're out there standing 10 toes down for the name of the Lord. Another strong shalom to all of the mighty brothers that are not out there as of yet, but building themselves up, reading, praying, fasting, doing everything they can do to put themselves in a position to shake the hand and wake up the hopeful elect. Another strong shalom to all that are mighty akwaf in this thing, that actually sincerely reverence their husbands, being teachers of good things to the children at home, being quiet, shamefaced, submissive, loving, steadfast, cooking, sewing, cleaning, doing all of the righteous acts of our foremothers on fire for the Lord. Another strong shalom to all that are mighty akwaf in this thing, that are not married as of yet, but they're building themselves up, remaining shamefaced, doing everything they can do to magnify the Lord in the ministry. Another strong shalom to all that are mighty children in this thing, abstaining from all lust, concupiscence, and peer pressure, on fire for the Lord. And last but not least, another strong shalom to all of the mighty nation of Israel, reading, praying, and fasting, magnifying the name of the Lord. Right, this is going to be a video on covetousness and idolatry and all of the workings of the flesh. Because a lot of brothers and sisters, they deal with covetousness and they may not even understand or realize that you're dealing with these demons. Right? Let's go to the book of Mark, right? Chapter 7 and verse 18. And he saith unto them, Are ye so without understanding also? Do ye not perceive that whatsoever thing from without entereth into the man cannot defile him, because it entereth not into his heart? So certain things enter into your heart, man. That new Benz, you understand, that jewelry, maybe a man, maybe a woman, that shirt, that business, you understand, that way of living or whatever you want, it enters into your heart. Your heart is your mind. And as it starts to enter into your mind, it makes a bed there, man. It gets comfortable. You know, it makes itself at home. You know, like anybody after a long day of work or when they get to that house, they kick back, they take their shoes off, they relax. You understand? They cut up the heat, they cut on the air condition, they open up the window, they kick back on the lazy boy, and you're at home, man, and you're relaxed in this thing. That's how a lot of thoughts enter into your mind. They settle there. You have to purge these demons and these spirits and these thoughts, these philosophies out of your mind. Covetousness is not a low-level spirit and demon. You have certain things that are kind of low level. But this demon is a strong demon. It's one of the 10 commandments. Really, covetousness goes to envy. And envy and covetousness really goes into lust. And covetousness is one of the 10 commandments. And it's really going into idolatry. So you're really practicing breaking the first commandment by lusting, covetousness, and all of these different spirits in your mind and your thoughts as you think and the things you want. It says, because it entereth not into his heart, but into his belly, right? And goeth out into the drought, purging all meats. I mean, it's going to purge out every other thing that was in you, because your belly is your mind. Meaning, once these thoughts start to enter into you and go to your mind and your thought, it's going to purge out all the other meats that you had in you. And he saith, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. So like, let me read that again. And he saith, that which cometh out of the man, that defileth the man. From within, out of the heart of men proceedeth evil thoughts, adulteries, fornications, and murders. So before a murder kicks off, before fornication arises, before adultery kicks off, before and all of these things, you have first an evil thought, an evil imagination. Whether it be a bearing false witness, whether it be a suspicion, whether it be your own thoughts and the desires for something, before it kicks off, before it's committing a sin, it first starts in your belly. It starts in your heart. It starts in your mind. Theft, covetousness, wickedness, deceit, lasciviousness, an evil eye, blaspheme, pride, foolishness. All these evils, all these evil things come from within and defile the man. So all of these things defile you, man. It isn't the shirt that you possess or the color you put on and, you know, you forgot to do this, you forgot to brush your hair. No, that doesn't make you evil in the eyes of the Lord, man, or defile you, On a deeper level is what you imagine and think. Everything starts with a thought. And if you don't correct your thoughts and your desires to be the will of the Most High, to love and respect your husband, to love and respect your wife, to love and care for your children, not to blaspheme, not to hate your brother behind closed doors or heap up bitterness and desires, you can never please the Lord, man. And the Lord has no need of a covetous man. The Lord has no need of a covetous woman. The Lord has no need of anybody that's willingly putting their lust in their flesh before the Spirit. It's the book of Luke chapter 12 and verse 15. He said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness, for a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. Now, you may be a star athlete, man. Maybe you could jump higher than anybody, catch the football, outrun everybody in track, play basketball, be the best player. But just because you're able to have these talents, does that mean that the Lord has mapped out your life to be a basketball star, to be a football athlete, to be a track star, man? Just because you have business knowledge, or you may have a track record of running a business, or you may have certain things that you possessed in the world, or talents or gifts, or just things that you put at a very high, in the state, does not mean that that's your lot to fulfill them, man. Look at how many people right now are gifted in a lot of things, but the Most High took them out of the world. There's a lot of pro athletes that are in this truth, man. There are a lot of business owners that are in this truth now. There are a lot of people that used to be in a rap, R&B, singing. They had deals on the table. They left all of that for the Lord, man. Because it's not about what you want in your life to kick off. It's the will and the desire and the lot of the Most High. So it really doesn't matter the abundance of things that you can possess, the money you can make, the care and the stress freeness of the lifestyle that you want and putting over here and grabbing over there. It's really to put your mind and your spirit under the obedience of the ordinances that the Most High has put down. Or you can lust, withdraw yourself, and be in sin. In sin, the Lord said, let me get this quick precept. Let's go to the book of 1 John, right? 5 and verse 16. If any man see his brother sin a sin which is not unto death, he shall ask him, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death, meaning an animal sacrifice. Because some sin is unto death, some sin isn't unto death. There's a sin unto death, I do not say that he should pay for it. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is a sin not unto death. So there's certain sins you have that are unto death. You would get killed immediately. Do you have certain other sins that are not unto death? But all sin is unrighteousness in the eyes of the Lord. What if he doesn't accept your sacrifice? What if he doesn't accept the pardon and the gift that you put on the altar? What if he doesn't accept your fast, your prayer, your contrite heart? And the Lord doesn't have to do these things, man. And the blood of Yahushua is not going to always cover you if you continuously, despite the spirit of grace and mercy, man, to do your own will and your pleasures through a prideful, demonic, wicked spirit and heart, man. This is Luke chapter 12 and verse number 16. And he spake a parable unto them, saying, the ground of a certain rich man brought forth plentiful. And you may bring forth plentiful in your life, man. I mean, I personally have not taken certain opportunities and careers because of the will of the Most High, because of the commandments, because of how I wanted my life. I didn't put covetousness, money, a mansion, a nice job, and all of these things before the lot that the Most High has blessed me with to be able to teach, right? To labor, to do certain things, maybe go into prophecy, whatever little talents the Most High blessed me with. I'd rather take that, which is true riches, and magnify the name of the Lord. It may be like the same way with women, man. You kind of denied your worldly lust and flesh, not sexual desires, but the things that you wanted just to please your husband. Because the Lord said the desire should be unto your husband, and he shall rule over you. Because if your desire isn't to your husband and it's to something else, then you're committing a sin unto the Most High. And all sin, you're going to have to pay for. The wages of sin are death. So if you're not literally purging these spirits off, taking advantage of the grace and mercy that the Lord has bestowed on you, and you're willingly putting your flesh and your spirit of covetousness in the will that you want before the Lord is going to kill you, man. The Lord is going to destroy you. The Lord is going to destroy a lot of men that put their flesh and their lust before the certain things. You have to take care of your wives. You have to deny yourself. This is not about driving the fanciest car, man. Having the biggest house when your children don't have anything. So this truth is about denying yourself. It's not about yourself. It's not about your chains and your shoes. It's about your family as a man taking care of. And as a wife, it's about pleasing your husband. Hey, let me get this quick precept real fast. Let's go to the book of Genesis chapter 3 and verse. I'm going to start at 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow shalt thou bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So if your desire is what you want and not what your husband wants, or your desire as a man is into the church, it is into your house, then what are you doing, man? You got to question that. Hey, if your house wants you to read every day, who cares if the big game is on, man? Who cares how you feel if your back hurts from work? I mean, who cares what you got going on if the Lord requires you to do something? You have to understand there's a chain of command in this thing. And once you break that through your lust of wanting to go to the carnival, wanting to go to the concerts, wanting to lust and covetousness, go to comedy shows. And once you start to break what the Lord has put down for fulfilling of the flesh, which is really coveting after these things. You're coveting these things. You're lusting after them. You want a good time. You want a good date. You want a good laugh. You want a good relax or a good sleep. There's nothing wrong with enjoying a good day, but you have to understand that lust and covetousness is the spirit that a lot of men do, and they replace it. I needed a good break, and I kind of, it was around that time. It's excuses. It's not righteous. The Lord said, it's the book of Luke chapter 12 in verse number 17. And he thought within himself, saying, what shall I do? Because I have no room where to bestow my fruits. So he brought forth all of this plentifulness. That could be a job. That could be money. That could be jewelry. That could be renownedness of this world. That could be knowledge on the left-hand side. And you're storing up all of these fruits, and I have no room where to bestow my fruits and my goods. And he said, this will I do. I will pull down my barns and build greater, and there will I bestow all my fruits and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. And a lot of people do that, man. They feel like their life is mapped out by the things that they possessed and have. Your life is not mapped out by the things you possess, man. Hey, this is carnal riches. That's a carnal car. That's a carnal title you have at work. That's a carnal business. That's a carnal, shirt and laptop and house and a boat. I mean, these are carnal things, man. Nobody cares on a deeper level what you possess if you don't possess wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. If a woman does not possess the submissiveness to love her husband unconditionally and to be content whatever situation she is, and to love the children no matter what's going on, and to build up her house and not pluck it down, then nobody cares how much money this woman has, what she looks like. You understand the clothing she possesses, or her renownedness and popularity. And the same with the man. Your gold ring, your jewelry, and your chains, and the things that you have, and your car. What woman or what man would even look at that and says, that's what I want to be? If that man does not have the will to pray, read, lead his family according to knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, to direct them and uplift them when they down, what use is that man? So you could bestow and have all of these things in a carnal barn, man. On a deeper level, you should be storing things in the heavens. Every single time you fast, you're bestowing fruit in the heavens. You give to homeless, you're bestowing fruit in the heavens. You're loving your household and taking care of your family. You're doing things that righteous men and women do. You're putting up treasures in the kingdom of heaven, man. It says, but I will say to my soul, soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years. Take thine ease, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said unto him, Thou fool, this night thy soul shall be required of thee. Then who shall those things be which thou hast provided, man? Meaning, where is it going to go? So he that layeth up treasure for himself and is not rich toward God. So the treasure you lay up, you have to really think, what are you laying up? It's not always carnal gold, silver, and money. You can lay up a mentality that's against the Lord, man. You can lay up an ordinance against your husband. You can lay up an ordinance against the church. What you want in the lust and the covetousness in your mind, it's going to lay it up, man. And you're going to start reaping the benefits of that in this life and be destroyed in the life to come. You have to really ask yourself, do you want the carnal riches of this life? Because Moses denied that, man. Let me get Hebrews real fast. It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 25. I'm going to start at 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God. So Moses could have had riches, women, a throne. I mean, any and everything you can imagine in Egypt, man. Egypt is like America. I mean, think of all of the things that America could give you. All of the high renownedness and buildings and land, businesses, all of the things that they finesse you and seduce you with, man. And they'll give you all of those things. If you give up your spirit, your soul, if you give up, willingness to labor, willingness to be afflicted, willingness to go over trials. I mean, in case you did not notice, this truth isn't about you. It's not about me. It's not about anybody in his life. It's about the Lord. It's about the precepts. It's all about giving to your brethren and not receiving anything in return. Hey, the Lord will recompense you in the day to come. It's about being submissive and loving and not caring about your flesh and what pleases you. It's about denying yourself and pleasing your husband. It's about denying yourself as a man, what you would have wanted, and giving it all to your wife and your children and your church, man. Yahweh did it. Moses did it. If these men were selfish and did the things that pleased them, where would we be right now, man? Where would our fathers be and our mothers? And where would we be if your mother didn't sacrifice with 2 jobs? If your father didn't sacrifice and do another shift, man? Where would you be? Would you have clothes on your back? Would you exist? Would you be in a shelter program? This life isn't about us, man. And covetousness and the things that you want. The Lord said, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures in Egypt. The treasures in Egypt could be anything, man. I mean, imagine somebody that mapped out their whole life, the exact way you wanted it. I want this to be there, that to be there. There's no reason why I can't have it. I want that to be there and this to be there, and it's nobody can stop me. You mapping out your whole life with the way you want in Egypt when the Lord did not want that for you in the first place. Because you have more witnesses against that. You have gotten counsel. You may have put spirits on you, or you may have went into a dead end, or you may be met with the spiritual demon Satan, and things start to kick off. Next thing you know, you're going off, man. Then the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward, man. So we have to have a recompense of that reward, man, because the Lord will give that to you. So what is covetousness going to lead you on a deeper level? Let's go to the book of Joshua, chapter 7 and 19. And Joshua said unto Achan, my son, give, I pray thee, glory to the Lord, God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done, hide it not from me. So covetousness has you to be able to lie. Covetousness has you to sneak. Covetousness makes you a different person, man. When you lust after something, it turns you into something else. When you lust after sex, you change your voice. You tell a woman everything she wants to hear. For a woman, you painting your face. You changing who you are. You sucking up your stomach, tightening up your damn abs and your waist. You're sitting up there taking your baby, having somebody keep them just so you could creep off with a man. And lust will change who you are. Lust and covetousness and envy and idolatry is all the same thing. It says, my son, give I pray thee glory to the Lord, God of Israel, and make confession unto him, and tell me now what thou hast done, hide it not from me. And Achan answered Joshua and said, indeed, I have sinned against the Lord, God of Israel, and thus have I done. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment. Now, Babylon is nothing more than America all over again, man. It's the daughter of Babylon. So as you see a Babylonian garment, he's really saying on a deeper level in the spirit, I saw something in America that I lusted and I put it on. I clothed myself with it. I clothed myself with that Fortune 500 company job, man, or my own business. I put that on. But doing that, is it really worth the spirit that's going to come behind that? Is it really worth the judgment of the Lord? Is it really worth my salvation? Is it really worth my relationship and my household? You may put on a Babylonian garment and you know it could be having 3 wives, man. Now you may put that on and you may covet that, but brother, is it really worth it on a deeper level, man? Salaki. Is it really worth it? Now you sitting up there, you got 3 wives, now your household's out of order. It's destroyed. It's not enough food. All because you coveted something that the Lord didn't want you to have. And 200 shekels of silver and a wedge of gold, 50 shekel weight. Then I coveted them and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth, in the midst of the tent, and the silver under it. So he hid them in the earth, man. On a deeper level, when you hide something, you're doing nothing but hiding it from the Lord on a deeper level, but you're really just fooling yourself, man. There are spirits and angels round about you watching you. And you're hiding these things, you know, being sneaky, covetousness, backbiting, railing, doing all of these things to hide your multitude of sins. So Joshua sent messengers and ran into the tent. And behold, it was hid in his tent, and the silver under it. And they took them out of the midst of the tent and brought them unto Joshua, to all the children of Israel, and laid them out before the Lord. So, I mean, you can't get away with finessing the Lord, man. He's going to catch you. He's going to see you. That judgment is going to slowly come to pass. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. It could be a year. But when the Lord get up with you, he'll either kill you, he'll break one of your bones, he'll stress you out, he'll take your job from you, your house from you. You could be homeless, destroy your whole marriage. It's no telling the judgment that the Lord will put upon you by coveting him. It says, and Joshua and all the children of Salaki and all Israel with him took Achiah his son, Zariah, and the silver and the garment and the wedge of gold, and his sons and his daughters and his oxen and his asses and his sheep and his tents and all that he had, and they brought them unto the valley of Achor. And Joshua said, why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones and burned them with fire, and they stoned them with stones, man. So the Lord, he'll stone you, man, straight up through the congregation and get rid of you, all by coveting. Now, what is covetousness? This is the definition of covetous. As in greedy, having or marked by an eager and offered selfishness, desire. So you can often be selfish in something you want, man. Or you can be eager to have something that you can't have. You're just eager to have it. It says, especially for material possessions. So materialistic things cause you to be able to be covet. You got greedy, desirous, coveting, grabby, misery, hoggish, right? You got what else you got? Let me see. Gobbling, self-seeking. So these are certain things. You got jealous, envy, resentful, green with envy, greedy, malicious, spiteful, distrustful, petty. Hey, if you covet something, it could have you to be petty, eating one's heart out, suspicious, These are all synonyms for the word covetous, man. Disrespectful. So when you're in an envy type of spirit, it calls all these other demons to come for you, man. Now you're being resentful that you can't have it. You're being malicious now. Causes you want to kill or steal. It causes you to have evil suspicions. It causes you to distrust. It causes you to have all of these demons because you're really not mad that you can't have the item. You're really mad at the Lord. I mean, when people say you can't smoke weed or brother, you can't fornicate or brother, you can't be partying and clubbing and living a double life and being a hypocrite and brother, you can't do this, you can't do that. They get mad at the prophet. They get mad at the messenger. But they're really mad at the Most High. They're really mad at his words. You know, if the Lord said, you know, all preeminence goes to your husband to lead you and that he's the head of you and you have to listen to him in every single thing that he says, you know, whether you agree or not, if it's not causing you verbatim to go against the law of God. But you know what? Certain women, they get mad at that. They're really not mad at their husband. They're mad at the Most High. You know, if the Lord said you got to keep Passover and this ordinance and that and really this and that, they're really not mad at whoever is telling them. They're mad at the Most High. So as you get covetous, you have to understand how deep these demons and spirits are on you, man. Let me get this quick precept. I want to go to Proverbs chapter 17 and 24. It says, wisdom is before him that have understanding, but the eyes of a fool are in the ends of the earth. So if you're a fool, your eyes are going to always be everywhere. You're going to be looking at what he has. Oh, she has a balcony. She has this, or, you know, she has a cat, or she has a gerbil, or, you know, she has this, and, you know, kids will be, well, mom, she has a dog baby, and I mean, who cares? A fool's eyes are going to be in the ends of the earth, man. They're going to be looking everywhere. What's created more wicked than the eye? For a weeper upon every occasion. Can't be looking at everything, man. Looking at your brother's car. Because he got a 2023, man. And you got a 2001. And you're sitting up there just lusting and angry. Because your eyes can't stop looking at what he has or what she has. Don't let your eyes be in the end of the earth, man. The last time I checked, the Lord said, let you ponder the path of your feet, man. Meaning looking forward. Let me get that in Proverbs. If you're not looking forward, you're looking all around, it's only a matter of time, man. The Lord said this. Let me get this quick precept. This is the book of Proverbs, right? I want to get 18, I'm going to jump to 26. But the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto the perfect day. So if you're on the right path, you're not going to drift off to this, to that, and this and that. You're going to stay forward on the path of the Lord, man. The Lord said, Proverbs 4 and 26, ponder the path of thy feet. Your feet can't be but one place at a time. Your feet can't be all the way on the south side while you're on the north side. On the east side when you're on the west side, or whatever the case may be. You have to ponder the path of your feet so you don't trip, so you can see where you're going, that you're not having multiple things on your mind at once. Let all thy ways be established. So if you're sitting up there with your eyes in the end of the earth, you know, that's not wise. It's going to lead you to covet and want. Last time I checked, what did Lot's wife do, man? She looked back. She could have been looking back at her past life, the things that she wanted, things that she desired, things that she would miss. But Lot looked forward. You have to look forward, like the Lord just said, into the bright and coming of the day. We're not looking back. If things have been decreed or said, you have to look forward, man. And the Lord has spoken. And we have to be wise enough to understand that these precepts aren't just to cut us, make us feel bad, beat us down. They're really to heal us, to have us to move forward, to have us to be righteous, obedient, submissive, loving. We're the bride of the Lord. And there's nothing more pleasing and wise and respectful and loving than a woman, which is the bride, which is Israel, to be submissive and loving unto the Lord. not looking at other gods, philosophies, or doctrines. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 20 and verse number 9. There is a sinner that have success in evil things. So say you coveted it and you just say, I want it, I gotta have it, man. Now you may take that, you may covet and grab whatever the case may be. You may win the lottery. You may have whatever your heart desired, but you're only going to increase into your destruction. It's not of the Lord. You have a lot of people that are gambling right now that want it big, $10 million. They think they're actually blessed. People working on a Sabbath day, then got a raise. Oh, every good gift coming from the Lord. They think that they're blessed. They're not blessed, because there is a sinner that have good success in evil things. You may get a sale or whatever case may be, or you may do this and do that, or transgress the law of God to do your own pleasure and have success in it. That's really Satan rewarding you. Satan giving you over to that. Now Satan will bless you too, man. Satan will give you your heart's desires. And the Lord said he'll give you your heart's desires. In the book of Psalms, chapter 21 and verse 2 all the way down. It says, and there is a gain that turneth the loss. So you're sitting up there thinking you're gaining things by covetousness and envy and stealing and grabbing and laying hold to these things when you're actually losing it all, man. You can lose everything. When you gain that extra wife, you gain that extra car, right? You gain from violence, or you gain by stealing or lying or whatever it is that you have accustomed to take. You're really gaining it to your destruction, man. Let's go to the book of Sirach, chapter 9 and verse number 11. Envy not the glory of a sinner. So when you envy the glory of a sinner, you're envying everything that they have, man. And we don't want to do that. This is not a hood movie, man. And any righteous woman or man would not want that type of lifestyle. That foolish jacket and that stupid chain. And a damn willy. We're not 3 years old, man. Nobody cares about popping willies and dealing with all these harlots in the street, man. A righteous man wants to dress righteous, move righteous, have a mentality that's a righteous mentality. A righteous woman is going to want to move righteous, man. Have a righteous mentality. We're not going to glory and envy the spirit of sinners. For thou knowest not what shall be his end. Man, you don't know. I mean, who cares if he has a mansion right now or a car, or he's getting what he wants? At the end, the Lord is going to destroy him. I mean, what man will want to be who the Lord hates, man? Let's go to the book of Colossians, chapter 3, in verse number 5. Mortify therefore your members which are upon the earth, meaning destroy them, cut them off. Fornication, uncleanness, inordinate affection, evil concupiscence, and covetousness. So the Lord knows one repeated thing that is always in the scriptures that men deal with is covetousness. It's not just you wanting to bow down to a damn idol, man, and an image. It's not just covetousness. So you want all of the gold and the silver. I mean, we covet things daily, man. We covet a new house. We're not content. When you're not content with what the Lord gave you, you're borderline dealing with covetousness, man. The Lord gave you one loaf of bread and you just want two. Brother, you're borderline committing covetousness, man. Be content with what the Lord gave you. The Lord don't have to give you anything. Where is it in the Bible where the Lord just has to give you everything you want to the teeth that you want it? And if he doesn't, he's an unrighteous God and Lord, man. The same way it could be with your husband or your wife. They don't have to give you every single thing to the teeth, but long as they will love you and respect you and honor you, that's the only thing that matters, and are obedient and submit one to another. So we have to understand that covetousness, it says what? Which is idolatry. Check that out, man. So the Lord is telling you in Colossians 3 and 5 that covetousness is idolatry. Now, what is idolatry? Let's go to the law. Because that's the chiefest, most wickedest thing that's ever been done that man can do on the earth is commit idolatry. Now you have a lot of demons. You got drugs, drunkenness, hatred. You got all of these spirits, stealing, lying. But the most chiefest thing that I have you to fall out this truth, fall out the faith, that not the Most High, is idolatry, which is covetousness, which is wanting things that don't belong to you, that the Lord said that you can't have, that your husband may say you can't have, and you may tell your children that they can't have something. If it puts a spirit on to where they're breaking in to steal it, if they're stealing in the stores, mom has $55. This toy only costs $2. Then they put it in their pocket. That's idolatry. Because they love that idol or whatever that was more than the Most High, more than honoring their father, more than honoring their mother, more than honoring their husband. And that's going to put them in one situation, which is death. The Lord said, thou shalt have no other gods before me. A God before the Most High isn't always talking about a picture or a piece of clay that you carved out or a smith that beat the gold and the silver and iron and brass and aluminum and all of these different metals into a big creature, man. That's not what that's talking about, man. Idols could be anything. The way you think, you could think a thought and make it your idol. The thought of me being a movie star. Now, you may not actually become one, but the fact that you held that high more than reading, praying, fasting, you spent more time on it, that thought and idea has formed itself to be a God in your mind. Let's go to the book of Hebrews. So being content is very important in the last days, man, because things are going to get worse. You're only going to have less movie trips to the theater. You're only going to have less time out with your friends. You're only going to make less money and things are going to get more expensive. Things are only going to get harder. So if you're not content with what the Lord gave you now, how can you think that you'll be able to survive in the times to come, man? You got to really think about these things. I mean, you should covet prophecy, like the Lord said, man. You should covet the end, not coveting anything of the world. It's the book of Hebrews, chapter 13 and verse 5. Let your conversation be without covetousness. So if all the time you speak, you're talking about what you want, what you can't have, what you miss, that's off. That's idolatry. You're serving other gods at that point. If your conversation isn't of the Lord, how to progress, how to build up the church, how to take care of the children, how to make sure that your life is without covetousness, idolatry, and all the working to the flesh, then I don't know what you're talking about, man. Last thing you should be talking about is wickedness. A Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked, man. Filthiness. It said, let your conversation be without covetousness and be content with such things as ye have. So, brother, you may only have one bathroom in the house. May only be able to have one child. May only be able to have, a job that's only paying you $17 an hour, man. $20 an hour. Maybe $15 an hour. All praise to the Most High that I'm able to put food in my mouth, clothes on my back, and a house to cover my shame. I'm not in this thing to keep up with the Joneses. I'm not in this thing to look at what other people have. Yeah, you want to have as much as the Most High will increase you to have. Abraham was rich, Isaac was rich, Job was rich, and the Lord will bless you, man. But he'll also take it all from you. The Lord said, let me get this real quick precept. Let me get this quick precept in Job 1:20. Job arose and rent his mantle and shaved his head. So Job had all things. He had a wife, children, multiple children, she-asses, white oxen. He had a place to stay. He had land. He had servants. He had all of those things. Shaved his head and fell down upon the ground in worship and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb. Because when you come out, you don't have anything. You acquire all your talents, your merchandise. You acquire all of the things that you have in the earth. When you leave the earth, when the Lord beams you up, what are you taking with you? The same thing that you had coming in this earth, your spirit. That's the only thing that you're taking. You can't take your wife with you and out the earth, your children, no matter how much you love them. You can't take anything, your grandfather's heirloom, his watch, You can't bring it with you, brother. All you have is your spirit. That's the only thing that you should be protecting right now. Your spirit and the spirit of others. And casting away everything that you could physically see, man. We don't care about it because it's going to melt. It's going to be destroyed. It says, and fell down upon the ground and worshiped and said, naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither. The Lord gave, and the Lord, it didn't say man, and the Lord have taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. So, I mean, on a deeper level, you got to ask yourself one thing. Does the Lord control all things? Does not he control the mouth, the movements, all of the creatures, all of the animals, all of the creepy things, all of the air, the elements, the sun, the moon, the stars, the leaves, everything that's moving and that is not moving, the Lord is creating it. Every thought that you have in your mind, the Lord is forming it. So if you're coming against the ordinances of the Lord on a deeper level, fighting against the course of the river, you're going against the Most High, man. The Lord said, force not the course of the river. So no matter what's going on, be content with what the Lord gave you. Let me go back to that in the book of Hebrews. It says, I'm picking up from where I left off. And be content with what such things ye have. For he hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. Let me go to the mighty book of Job. Let's go to Job chapter 31 in verse 24. It says, Salaki, if I had made gold my hope, or have said to the fine gold, thou art my confidence. So people make things their confidence, man. I mean, you got certain people that are so independent that they love their job more than their own life. Because they love the renownedness at their job. They love the awards. They love the title. They love being called the doctor. They love being called the scientist. They love being called the engineer, man. They made gold their hope. A lot of people make other things their hope. If I rejoice because my wealth was great, and because my hand had gotten much, if I beheld the sun when it shined, or the moon walking in brightness, and my heart have been secretly enticed. So you got to be careful with your heart, which is your mind, being secretly enticed. It's not always about the enticeness immediately. I mean, adultery does not come with your woman yelling and screaming when she sees another man. You kind of turn to her, what the hell is going on? Next thing you know, she jumps and runs into another man's arms. No, it's secret. It's behind closed doors. That's why your mind and your thoughts, the Lord says, not what you eat that defileth you. It's really what comes within that comes out. Because it all starts in your heart and your mind and your thoughts. So you don't want to be secretly enticed with gold, silver, preeminence, glory, the way you want your life to be, what you don't have, how you want it to be. Be content with where the Lord has you. This is your lot. You cannot fight against the spirit of the Most High. No matter what's going on, all praises to the Most High. The Lord said this, verse 28. It said, Slaki, I'm going to read on from 27. Or my mouth hath kissed my hand. This also were an iniquity to be punished by the judge. For I should have denied the God that is above. So when your heart secretly is enticed with things, you deny the Most High above. And when you deny the Most High, you withdraw from the Most High. And when you withdraw from the Most High, guess where you at? You're in the grave. Let's go to the book of Romans. You're in the world. Let's go to the book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 7. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? For God forbid. Nay, I had not known sin, but by the law. For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. So, I mean, like I said, covetousness is going into idolatry. That's Colossians 3 and 5. And also, it's going into what? Lust. That's Romans 7 and 7. So when you're in covetousness, you're in lust, and you're in idolatry, and you're practicing envy. Let me get that quick precept. Matter of fact, before I get that, let me get this quick point. Let's go to the book of Genesis. Now, Esau is the father of covetousness. That's literally in the scriptures. This Genesis chapter 36 and verse 10. These are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz. So one of Esau's sons is Eliphaz. Now, what does Eliphaz mean in the Hebrew? Let's go to it. It's the book of Genesis, chapter 36, and verse number 10. So Esau's son, Eliphaz, it means my God is fine gold. So Esau's son Eliphaz, his name literally means my God is fine gold. Meaning his God is of this world. His God is of what you can see. His God is of jewels, preeminence, glory, work, whatever it is to have him to make money and to set him secure in his mentality, to make him feel like this fulfills him, is literally his God, man. So you can't tell me that covetousness isn't the spirit of Esau, because that's his son, man. Literally, when you go into it. Now it says, I'm going to read that again. Genesis chapter 36 and 10. These are the names of Esau's sons. Eliphaz, his firstborn, his lineage, his offspring is of the spirit of covetousness, which is lust, which is envy, which is idolatry. He's the father of it, man. There's nowhere on this earth that you can go where you don't see an emblem, an idol, something standing up, a standing image, a flag. Anything that you can see that's high up, Esau is the father of it, man. Let me go to Philippians. It's the book of Philippians, chapter 4 and verse 11, and it reads, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am in. So like a state I am, therewith to be content. So Paul learned when he was literally getting chased by men, climbing down off of a high place with a rope, right? If he was getting stoned and shipwrecked, that he had to be content with what he had. And Paul didn't eat luxury dinners every night, man. He was on the move. Paul was not a man that had the luxury to complain. Paul bared whatever burden and whatever situation he had. He did not covet after the lifestyle of relaxation. He didn't covet after the lifestyle to have a wife. He didn't covet after his own flesh. He put all of that on his back, and he labored more abundantly than they all, man. You got to ask yourself, are you doing that? Or are you making provisions for the flesh? Do you care so much about how you feel that you deny your family, your God, your children, your husband, the Most High by Hashem Yahushua, man? This 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 6, and it reads, but godliness with contentment is great gain. So if you're godly, meaning respectful and holy and separate, with contentment, because you could be godly and still covet, man. Because you can have all of the precepts, know all of the prophecies, but your heart is secretly enticed. You got to be content. Contentment is great gain, because the Lord is going to give you farther more riches than you think that you're going to possess in this life or that you want. Guess what? You know what? I'm going to put down my basketball shoes and I'm going to work 2 jobs because I got 2 children on the way. I got twins in the womb and I don't have time to literally fulfill my lust. I got to make ends meet right now. Somebody wouldn't do that, man. Somebody put their dreams, their admirations, and their goals above their family, above their wife, man, above their children. You have to be content, which is a great gain in the eyes of God, man. So in the end, when it's all said and done, you denied the job that you wanted, the life you wanted, the house you wanted, right? You denied the place you wanted to stay. You denied all of the things that you desired from the time you were born, or what you're excellent in, or the gifts you may have. You denied all of that, man, to be in order, to follow the Most High. You're going to have a great game in the kingdom of heaven. And it's not even about the great game. It's about respecting the Most High and fearing the Most High. If you're based in your feet being settled and rooted in His truth off of the reward all the time, then you're not seeking the Lord after a pure heart. We seek the Lord because we want to do that which is well pleasing unto the Lord because we love the Lord. You're not doing things for your husband so that you can get a massage, or so that he can lay you down, man. Or that he could buy you a ring and a jewelry and earrings. You're doing it because you truly love your husband and you want to submit unto him. The same way with a wife. You're not giving things to your children so they won't cry. I don't want them to cry. I want them to think I know. You're doing it because you love them. If we want the kingdom, that's going to come. But we have to first want to serve the Most High with a pure heart, with contentment. We have to have the understanding that gain and things of this world isn't of the Lord, man. So we got to withdraw ourselves, be selfless, and have the mentality to serve. Serve man, you understand? Serve church, serve your wife, make sure that she's taken care of. When I say serve, I mean deny yourself and take on their burdens, their responsibilities, things that they need help with. And do all things that you can, you understand, to magnify the name of the Lord. Let me get this last closing precept. Let me get the book of Revelation, chapter 3, and verse number 2. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain, that are ready to die. So certain things on you are dying off, and that could be the way you think. Covetousness, what you lust after. Brother, cut that off before that grows into something that it's going to be unbearable to cut down. It's going to be unstoppable. Certain things grow too strong for man to cut down, man. They need help. They need machinery, man. They need axes. They need all type of bowling constrictions and tomahawks, and they need things that they can't do on their own. Brother, while you can right now, before you're destroyed, get those things off of you, man. While the Most High has mercy on you. Because it's going to come a time when you may have 3,000 spirits on you that are too strong for you to carnally pray off anymore. Because you know what? The Lord is giving you over to your confusion, your lust. He's giving you over to your mind. Because you have been practicing idolatry secretly, being enticed